There's a new super SUV on the block, and that's in the form of this, the Range Rover Sport SV. Yes, there's no R anymore, but this is the replacement for the SVR. It's the most expensive Range Rover Sport ever produced, and it's the fastest Range Rover ever. And this is a recipe that will excite you. That's because it's powered by a BMW M5 engine. I'm Max Ottavani, and welcome to Driven Plus. Here we are. Range Rover has ditched the 5-litre supercharged V8 in exchange for this, a BMW M5 V8 engine. 4.4-litre V8, 635 PS and 750 Newton meters of torque, which is the same figures you get on the BMW M5 CS. So does it have an M5 CS engine? Well, you'd expect it to, considering the amount of money you're paying for one. This model starts from £170,000. This model right here is £189,000. Do you want one? Yeah, you can get one. This is the edition one. It's limited to 500 units and they're all sold out. However, Range Rover will be releasing a full mass production SV soon, which is rumoured to start at around £150,000. Another interesting fact is the run-in service on the BMWs is around 1,200 miles. This doesn't have one. It just kind of limits power up to 500 kilometers, and then you've got the full power, which is interesting, I think. Now, Range Rover say it'll do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. So let's see if they're right. Now let's launch the Range Rover Sport SV from 0 to 60. Range Rover say 3.6 seconds. Now, one significant improvement over the old model is that this has launch control. So everything's got to be an SV, gearbox in sport, hold down on the brake, dynamic launch activated. Oh, that hurts. What are we on? 3.57. Well, Range Rover are there or thereabouts. I think it'll do it quicker. Let's try one more. There we go. Go. Oh my God, that's so quick. 3.73, they're slow again. Let's try one more. One more to go. It's like a lull. Like I let it go and it's like, okay, now we're gonna go. There seems to be a delay. Come on. Yeah, another delay. It's quick though. 3.7, okay. Well, we got 3.57, which is quicker what they say, but let's take that as the quickest time. So yeah, it did it quicker than what Range Rover states. Back to the review. So now we're going to talk about the colour options. Only 3 options on the Edition 1. Flux Silver, which is what you see here, Obsidian Black and the Carbon Bronze. It's worth noting that only on the Obsidian Black and the Flux Silver can you get this beautiful exposed carbon fibre bonnet. And carbon fibre really is a theme throughout this car. Carbon fibre badges, carbon fibre surround on the grille, carbon fibre splitter down here, carbon fibre side things here. Side vents again, it's all over, but the overall look comparing to the outgoing SVR, I think this is much more elegant and much more classy. It's definitely not more in your face. So yeah, now we're going to talk about the silhouette, the side profile about this beautiful, beautiful car. We're going to talk about the carbon fibre wheels, optional 23-inch alloys. Now these approximately save 9 kilograms per corner, and apparently these are a world's first on a production vehicle. That's what Jaguar Land Rover say anyway. Behind them are carbon ceramic brakes, which approximately save 34 kilograms of unsprung mass throughout the car. And these carbon ceramic brakes are the first ever to be fitted to a Range Rover. And as you can see, they're gripped by massive 8-pot Brembo calipers. Now the overall car is 25mm lower than a standard Range Rover, and I think it's actually the lowest Range Rover ever produced. It's probably the closest you'll ever get to some sort of Range Rover sports car or supercar. And the suspension, yeah, this suspension is not normal, and I'm going to explain more of that later on in the review. Coming to the rear of the Range Rover Sport SV, now it's not too different to the P635 that gets quad tailpipes as well. So the only little differences are the SV badge and the side things here. The side vents, they're more aggressive. I think Range Rover could have done something with this middle part diffuser here. I think it at least deserves some sort of aggressive carbon fibre diffuser. That's one for you, R44 Performance. Now the exhaust tips are covered by these carbon fibre. They look really, really smart. And I must mention the number plate. Now this has been supplied by 4DOT, and they're a bespoke company that shapes the number plate fully road legal to the car's silhouette, and it looks really, really cool. So check them out. We'll put the link in the description. And this is what the Range Rover Sport SV sounds like. Yeah, it's a little bit refined, not as loud as the outgoing 5-litre supercharged V8, but it still sounds good. Let's have a look in the boot. Now, you do get some little goodies whilst buying a Range Rover Sport SV, and you'd imagine so as well, because, as I say, it's an expensive car. But you get this little paperweight here with the exact same colour as what your car is finishing. That's all very premium. Don't know where you put it. And you also get this Range Rover flask there. Yeah, Range Rover do look after their customers. No tow bar, same storage as you get as the normal Range Rover Sport, 647 litres. And I thought this was a bit funny. With the carpets and mats it comes, and it says here L461, which is the model of this car, SVR. Let's go have a look inside. So sitting inside of the Range Rover Sport SV, it's a really, really beautiful place to sit. The leather is called Rosewood Ebony Red, and I think it works really, really nicely. Now you get an optional extra fridge there, SV Edition 1 there, carbon fibre, and it's all very clean design. Cup holders down there, very, very similar to your normal Range Rover Sport. And going back before, when it's clean design, 2024 models, all the climate control buttons have now gone in to the screen, which, yeah, I'm not too in favour of. But however, it's pretty simple to use. So all your temperature is controlled via this little switch here. All your driving modes have now gone on here. So everything's quite easy to work. I think once you start to live with this car, you then start to get used to it. All your volume in there for your radios and all your media system. But one amazing thing about this car is the seats. Now, look at you've got the SV, which illuminates in white there, carbon fibre backed as well, really, really comfortable. But you get something called body and soul, which I'm going to get up for you now. So they're called body and soul seats. So this has some sensory wellness audio that's built into these seats. So I'm going to turn this on. So you can feel the music through these seats. So say for instance you've bought your Range Rover Sport SV and you're on your way to the business meeting and you want to remain calm. So what you do is press the calm button. If it comes on. Range Rover has pre-downloaded these tracks to play to calm you down on your way to the business meeting. And say you want to poise, different soundtrack again, and I can all feel this through my body. The vibration is coming through. It's a mad experience. And say you want to invigorate, press invigorate. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Bit of a gimmick if you ask me, but it feels quite cool. And sensory audio as well. So as you can say, you turn the radio on, you can feel the bass, which is all pretty cool. But however, this Range Rover has managed to maintain massage seats, so you get massage as well. They're cooled and heated. So, and you also get Apple CarPlay, as you can see there. The screen is actually really easy to use. It's crisp and it's really, really good. But coming on to the instrument cluster now, obviously another LCD screen again, but there are so many preloaded settings that you can choose. So we've got the 2 dials either side there. We go on to the display layout, and you can change it to just a sole map, as you can see. So if you're going somewhere you don't know where to go, that's great to have on. Let's change it to focused. So you've got the map on the right side, your speedometer on the central side, and then on the left side you've got your media to know what music you're playing. Now, this button here, SV. If you press the SV button, everything will go red, SV mode selected, and you can now choose from even more menus here if it goes on to, yes. So what have we got? Left info panel. So engine data, so your power and torque curve, your PSI in the tyres and tyre temps, good for track. Empty panel, your navigation panel, media, trip summary, there's so many things, 4x4 info, driver assistance, oh my god, another G meter if you really want to. And again, you're back to engine data. So there are so many things to choose from. And another cool thing on the steering wheel are these backlit illuminated paddles. They're pretty cool. Apparently they're a world's first as well. Bit of a theme throughout this car. But the owner of this car, Troy, I want to ask him a few questions because there's been a few questions on social media recently. In come Troy, how are you, sir?
I'm good, mate.
Good. Now, obviously we've posted a few videos on TikTok on this thing and we've had a few comments regarding, well, can you insure it? And the answer is...
So I was scared about it, Max, and yes, I can. So obviously this car's coming right at my renewal date on my insurance. So I'd had all the bad news, everything going on about the car. And I had probably around about 10 days in my current one, and it came up as £50 to put it on the insurance. So that was really good. Now when my renewal came through, I was worried because I had to put, you know, this car's going to be my daily driver, so I'm going to do 15,000 miles a year in it. I'm going to put some miles on it, and I'm going to use it for business. And it's a Land Rover. The internet was saying not a chance. Actually, £958, and it's got 3 drivers on it. That can all drive for business, including you, Max. And you're what, 24?
24.
24.
So, for anyone wondering, can you insure a Range Rover? The answer is...
yeah.
Yes, yes you can. Let's get out onto the road. And this is what I've been most excited for the most, to physically drive the Range Rover Sport SV. And as much as I'm excited to feel the power of that V8, I'm more interested in how it feels in a corner. That's because it has something called 6D Dynamics, which is a hydraulic interlinked fluid system, no anti-roll bars, so it aims to keep the car as flat as possible, very similar to a McLaren system. So, as we come to a corner, apply full throttle, the car stays so flat. The experience is insane. The fact that this is a 2.5 ton car and it's performing like this in the corners. Range Rover have built an absolute animal. Okay, yes, you're paying £170,000 plus for a Range Rover Sport, yes. The driving experience is unlike any other super SUV. That's because of its suspension setup, and this is what differentiates itself from the Urus and DBX. So what you're actually paying for is drive and feel and its technology. But this really is a performance-driven SUV. Range Rover has thrown all its off-roading capabilities out the window because this doesn't have a low box. The old SVR did, but let's be honest, who cares? You're not going to be off-roading in this car. This is a Range Rover for the track, but for once, the racetrack. Now let's compare this with the outgoing SVR, the one with the 5-litre V8 engine. Now let's compare it with the 4.4 in this. Now the 4.4 sounds great. It's very muted, it's quite reserved. But I think the old SVR had more character, had more drama, sounded better too. But when you compare it to this has more power, it's torquier, and it's more efficient too. So you may as well come round to the new 4.4 litre V8. And another thing, comparing the two cars, is the overall look. Now this car looks very elegant, it looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. But say you passed it and in the corner of the eye, you could easily mistake it for a normal Range Rover Sport. Whereas the old SVR, you knew straight away that was an SVR because of how aggressive that looked, the vented bonnet, obviously that blue, which was quite common in that SVR game. But yeah, I suppose if you're paying so much money for a Range Rover SV, you do want to stand out a little bit. But for me, there's more subtle touches to this, as opposed to the last one, there was more aggressive touches. I think it all boils down to personal preference. But although it's got all this technology to be super on the road, has it maintained Range Rover DNA, outright luxury? Yes, 100%. It's a great mix of performance and luxury. Range Rover has hit the nail on the head again. These seats are just super comfortable. They're massaged as well, heated and cooled, which is kind of standard nowadays with these Range Rovers. And the suspension too. Yes, you've got all this 6D dynamics going on, but it's still air suspension, four-wheel steer, so it's easy to maneuver in the corners. Yeah, it definitely has maintained its Range Rover DNA, definitely. And the seating position too, compared to the old SVR, the way you sit on the road is the exact same. It's nice and focused, nice and high up. The feel of this car is overall better though, better steering response, and obviously the way it just responds in the corners. And the way you look over that bonnet as well, and you see the carbon fibre bonnet coming through, that just adds to the occasion. It looks awesome, and it feels awesome driving one as well. And yes, because this has a BMW engine, everyone's going to compare this to the X5M, which pains me to say it, but I don't think you can compare the two cars, because this has, well, I think it's better in every sense. Better suspension, better technology, and better luxuries too. And it has a more powerful engine, BMW M5 CS engine. But for me, it's just the way this car shifts its weight. Press the SV button here, everything livens up, everything turns red. The paddles illuminate red. Apparently that's a world first. And on the screen, as you can see, you've got the bit of a graph on the left, shows you how much PSI you're pulling through to its turbo, and you've also got how much G's you pull. Now, Range Rover say it'll actually pull 1.1 G in the corner. I don't know if I'm going to be able to try that, but I mean, that explains a lot. But it's a 2.5 ton car, and the way it kind of just rips up the surface in front of it, goes through the corner with ease, it's good, it's flipping good, it's more than good. Oh. So, driving the Range Rover Sport SV on the motorway, I have to say, it's a great driving position. The way you position yourself on the road, it's like any other Range Rover experience, really comfortable, really smooth. And with it just tugging along and cruising along, the 4.4 litre V8 is responding so nicely. It's really good at civilized speeds. But as we come to a roundabout here, applying brakes, you can feel those massive carbon ceramic brakes working, and they're seriously strong. So if you really want to, you can brake quite lately, but as you come on to another piece of straight road, that noise is beautiful. And this car just loves to be driven. It just loves to rack up those miles easily, and before you know it, you're traveling at some speed. Yeah, must slow down. The sound insulation is good as well, and I think the V8 is a little bit muted, so I'll put my foot down. Now, comparing to the old SVR, that would have been, which is a nice feeling. So I would say the noise in this car is a lot more muted than what you'd probably expect, which is a good and bad thing. Obviously, the good thing is it's not in your face. You can drive this car, put your foot down wherever and not kind of be deafened. But then the bad thing about the negative is that you want to be deafened by a kickdown sometimes. You kind of want to put your foot down and you want to hear that engine, but it's not there. It's very muted, it's very reserved, which is good and bad, like I said, yeah. So driving the car round town, I'm going to turn down this narrow street here because I want to explain to you the manoeuvrability of this car. So turning in there, super easy, that's because it has four-wheel steering. And it's just so light as well. And this is where unsprung mass comes in. Obviously carbon wheels, carbon ceramic brakes, so the steering is super, super light. And we've got a few obstacles here, parked cars. Does the car feel big? No, not at all. And what's the visibility like coming to a junction like this? It's not bad, yeah, it's good. You can look through the rear window there. Pretty happy with that. The wing mirrors are nice and big as well. And then coming out of junction, the gearbox responds super, super smoothly. Obviously, ZF8. ZF8 is just brilliant at high speed. Well, kick down, smooth delivery here as well. It's just effortless. You hardly know it's there. The way it changes gear is so smooth as well. And chilling at 30 miles per hour here, as you can see. I don't even have to raise my voice. It's that quiet. It's that refined and so smooth. It's the car that kind of does it all. It's great in the corners. You can take it out for a blast on the B road and it'll respond really easily. Come to town and it just responds like any other Range Rover in terms of top class luxury. Right, we're going to attempt to go 360 around this roundabout with the four-wheel steer. Let's try it. Look at that. Don't think these locals will be too impressed. But yeah, how easy was that? Go right down here. This four-wheel steer is an absolute game changer. No, you don't just get it on the SV, but it makes everything a whole lot better. So what's my verdict on the Range Rover Sport SV? Well, if you've got one on order, you should be excited because this is an absolute machine, a great piece of engineering. And the fact that this is an SUV and it drives the way it does is unreal. It's a really, really different driving experience. However, £189,000 for this is a lot of money. If I had an extra £8,000, which you will because you're spending so much money on this car anyway, you can get yourself in a DBX 707, the Aston Martin thing. But I think this is in a league of its own. I think the way it drives, the way it sounds, and the size of it, it's a bigger car as well. So you might be getting a lot more for your money. Aston Martin DBX, Mercedes engine, this, BMW engine. Go get yourself the BMW engine. Thank you for watching. I'm Max Aftervarney. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.